Hello, fourth graders. All right, today is Tuesday, the 10th. We started our day off with our morning movement and our read aloud, and then we got into math. Today in math, we talked about, it was very similar to yesterday, but today instead of addition, we were working on subtraction. So we worked on some problems, we went over the rules, and all of this can be found under classwork. And if you go all the way up to the top for week 13, go Monday through Friday through math, open up that assignment. So in this assignment so far, yesterday we did the addition, so this page 3 should be completed. I graded it, so there is a private comment on the assignment that has if you need to check anything. Then today we started with page 4. So this is on adding and subtracting decimals. So again, same rules apply. You're going to line them up, drop down that decimal, fill in any open spots. For Tuesday, we started off on page 209 and worked through some problems, and then we stopped at 214. Students worked on numbers 11 through 16. They're going to click here in this box, and they're going to put A, B, C, D, whatever their answer choice is, they'll put here. So let me show you some things that we talked about today with subtraction. So with subtraction, again, just like we talked about with whole numbers, this looks like we talked about when we were adding them, this looks very similar to what we do with whole numbers. We're just adding in that decimal point. Okay, so if we have 5 and 45 hundredths minus 2 and 20, say 7 hundredths, the first thing we're going to do, just like with whole numbers, we're going to line them up. So I'm writing them according to their place value. All of the tenths are together, all of the hundredths are together, all the ones are together. Notice the decimal points are lined up, they're stacked right on top of each other. Okay, so then once we have that lined up, all the spaces are filled in. I don't need to put in any zeros, everything's there. So now I just start subtracting like normal. So 5 minus 7, I can't do that, so I'm going to go next door. I'm going to take 1 away from the 4 and make this a 3. The 5 becomes a 15. Then I'm going to do 15 minus 7. So I'm going to put 7 in my brain. Then I'm going to count on 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's 8. Then 3 minus 2 is 1. I'm going to drop down this decimal. Go straight down. And then 5 minus 2 is 3. Excuse me. All right, 5 minus, so 5 minus 2 is 3. All right, so 3 and 18 hundredths. Now to check this to make sure it's correct, I'm going to take my answer, 3 and 18. I'm going to add it to the 2 and 27 hundredths. Add that together. 8 and 7 is 15. 2 and 2 makes 4. Decimal, drop it down. 3 and 2 is 5. If this 5 and 45, if this matches this here, then check. I know I subtracted correctly. So this here equals 3 and 18 hundredths. Now, one thing that you have to be on the lookout is when you, just like with what we were talking about with the addition yesterday, if you have a whole number, let's say we have 15 and we're subtracting 350, okay? If you have a whole number, you don't see any decimals, but that doesn't mean that it's not there, it's just hiding. So when you write 15 and you put 350 underneath, don't put it like something silly. You have to line everything up. So everything has to be, if this 3 right here is in the ones place, then it has to go underneath the ones place. Everything has to be there. In 15, the decimal is to the right. So even though you can't see it, it's there, okay? Directly to the right of the ones place. And then you have all these open spaces. If what students do a lot of times is they just drop down this 50. Absolutely not allowed. You have to add in some zeros. You can put one here as well. You have to add in these 2 zeros to show that there's no tenths and there's no hundredths. Now we're ready to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 5, I can't do it, so I'm going to regroup. 10 minus 5 is 5. Drop down the decimal. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 minus 0 is 1. Take your answer, add it to 350. There's my 15. That checks out, so I know I subtracted correctly. So again, whenever you have, let me put it one more time. Whenever you have a whole number, so it could be any whole number at all, 300, where'd you go, marker? 350, okay? 350 is a whole number, but I can turn it into a decimal by adding that decimal point and the zeros. 100 or 1,621 is a whole number. I can make it shown by showing that there's a decimal point there by adding that in after the ones place and adding those zeros to show that there's no tenths and there's no hundredths. This is still a whole number. It's just showing there's no tenths, no hundredths. No tenths, no hundredths. Okay? So please be on the lookout. Know that that's kind of the one thing. Like these are kindergarten, first grade numbers that we're adding and subtracting. Like these aren't very big numbers. They're going to be very, very small. Okay? Maybe second grade level. But the part that puts this at a fourth grade level is that you really have to think, okay, if I'm given a whole number, for example, if I have 5 minus 2.5, I can't just do that without lining it up and adding that decimal. Okay, so you want every single spot to be filled in. Then you can go and subtract. Okay, so those placeholder zeros are very, very important. All right, so we did that. Put your answers here for Tuesday. And this wraps up our everything we're doing with decimals. Tomorrow, we are going to start our lesson on fixed and variable expenses. And we'll be moving into a whole new topic. So make sure we're reviewing. If you go down in the agenda, if you go down to the bottom, each day we're reviewing with math. So yesterday we did adding and subtracting. Today we did comparing decimals. So each day we've got review pieces because on Friday we're going to test. And we also test for this financial literacy unit. We're testing for both. So the financial literacy, it's only a few days. It's really short. So we're gonna get that test in there, and then next week we'll be starting our multiplication unit. All right, so that was math. Coming up next is reading. So in reading, we continued our lesson on autobiography and biography. And so that is in, let me get out of this, leave that. That is in Seesaw. So in activities, going down to reading, week 13. All right. So just to review, autobiography, we're talking about someone's, a writing about someone's life, and the person that's writing it, they're writing about their own life. They're writing about themselves. Biography, however, is still a writing about someone's life, but it's written by someone else. So yesterday we read Bessie Coleman and Me. We did a Venn diagram, and today we started off reading another story about Bessie Coleman, and we're going to end up comparing these two writings. But today we filled out this. So after we read, we filled out this, and we said why we think that this is a biography or autobiography. And then we worked on this pronoun sort, and we decided whether the pronouns were going with what you would find in an autobiography when someone is talking about themselves, or biography if someone is talking about someone else. So when you're reading through that Bessie Coleman, be on the lookout what kind of pronouns are being used, and that helps you understand what type of writing it is. So here we did the pronoun sort, we did the reading. The last part is the research activity. So please make sure everybody is working on this a little bit each day. So right here, again, students have these websites. They should have picked their famous person. They can use a number of these. They don't have to use just one. They can go into Epic and search for their person and see if there's books on there. They can use Sora, any of the library resources that we have. Those aren't listed here, but they're all in their Launchpad. They can use those library resources, and they can search their person, like PebbleGo, things like that has lots of good information. So maybe they don't find, like the family members. Maybe they don't find that on one page, but they might find it on another resource. So combine a bunch of things together and make sure you're doing a good job researching your person. So we worked on that a little bit. And then for writing, we spent our whole time on introductions. We did not get to the benchmark review. So in Seesaw, under activities, writing week 13, we worked on page 2. And so this one here, page 2, let me edit. All right, page 2. So this one was talking about a favorite toy. So you're writing about a favorite toy or an object you like to play with during your free time, and explain why this thing's so special. So we started off with our topic brainstorm, and we put 4 toys, so soccer ball, Nerf gun, Legos, and Beyblades. We wrote down, we highlighted which one that we're going to pick, because it says favorite toy. It doesn't say toys. So we picked one, and then we practiced 3 ways to do an introduction. So again, introduction has the hook, how you're connecting your reader is that hook, and then the central idea. So one way you can start off your paper is with a question. So I said, what kinds of toys do you like to play with? In my free time, I like to play with Legos. Keep reading to find out why. Another way of starting this off is with a funnel. So again, the funnel is that hook. This first part right here is the hook, and then you still have, each one of these still is telling the reader that my favorite toy is Legos. So here it says, although I like to play with soccer balls, Nerf guns, and Beyblades, Legos are my favorite toy to play with during my free time. Let me explain why Legos are special to me. The next one is an introduction with the anecdote. It says, last summer I found a show that I really liked called Lego Builders. the contestants create these incredible structures all made from Legos. Since watching that show, Legos have been my favorite toy that I like to play with during my free time. So here, this is that first little section of your paper. So you could have picked any one of these ideas, and that's how we're going to start off our paper. So we're practicing now the 3 different ways that we talked about. And eventually, when we move on to the next part, you're not going to have to keep doing each one of these. You're going to pick one. So I told the kids today, I want you thinking about which one of these am I like really, really good at? Like, am I a funnel guy or am I a question gal? Like, what is my go-to? And so really be thinking about which one you're really getting the hang of. Like there's some of you that can knock out a funnel and it sounds awesome. Like this one, I got this from a student today. Perfect. I loved it. I said, let me borrow it and I'm going to put it on mine too. Okay. So once you're getting down one, that'll be kind of your go-to that you stick with and you really perfect. So we're still practicing all 3 so we can see which one, which one we are the strongest at. And then we'll move on to where we're not constantly writing 3 of them. We'll just have the one. All right, so we worked on that page. We talked a lot about what is in the introduction. We shared as well, so that took up a lot of time. So we didn't get to that benchmark review, but we will get there. So we drafted that. Then we went to lunch and recess. All right, for science today, we had our field trip. So we had someone come and visit us from the San Antonio River Authority. Here's the website. They have things on their website too if you'd like to check out. And then for social studies today, there's a video here to watch. And then week 13 in the Google Classroom. So go to week 13, find the Monday through Friday social studies, open up your Tuesday assignment, and you can read or push play and read along with it. And then there are 3 questions that you're answering. They're all on the same page. I believe they're on the same page. Let me double check since I said that. Yep. All right, so 3 questions here, 4, 5, and 6. So why was it built a few miles away from the fort? How many months after the mission was built did the Apache arrive? Who attacked and burned down the mission? So here you're typing complete sentence. Here you're clicking the dot and putting it over your response. So make sure you have Monday should be done and Tuesday now should be done. And then just X out of that and that'll save there. Make sure this adding and subtracting decimals, we did this as our intervention. I'd like this to be done. If this is not done, make sure that gets completed for practice for our test coming up. And I think that is it. Students had PE today and that was our day. So let me know if you have any questions. Also, please make sure you check out the paper that I put on your Seesaw. It's in your inbox that I sent to parents, families, and students. It has grades, it has assignments that either have a low grade or I'm missing. So please go check out that document. And our goal is to get names off of that. So please go take a look at that. And make sure you take care of that because again, each week we have new assignments, 5 new assignments each week. And so the more that like there's things on there from 3 weeks ago. So we keep going and we give time in class for all of those things to be done. Make sure that when it's a work time, you're doing your work and that you're taking care of business during that allotted time so you don't have to keep using your evenings and weekends to be doing that kind of stuff. Okay? All right, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.